Hello, and welcome back for a second time this week. In this podcast, we're not looking at the sermon at all, rather something else from earlier in the service. It's a retreat report for which we have two suggested names. The first being Unplug, Recharge, and Reconnect at St. Katherine's, and the second, more interestingly titled Slippers and Miracles at St. Katherine's. For those of you that were there, you can decide and let us know. God bless. See you next time.
Welcome to your custom deep dive. Today we're unpacking your own notes and feedback from your community's recent church retreat over at St. Katherine's. The whole core theme your group tackled was unplug, recharge, and reconnect.
Yeah, and our mission for this deep dive is to really explore how that that intentional withdrawal from the daily grind, it goes beyond just a temporary weekend high.
Right.
When it's done right, it sparks this actionable long-term transformation for your entire community.
It really does. And I mean, setting the scene at St. Katherine's puts this perfectly in perspective. You've got this beautiful 1850s stately home, snowdrops blooming everywhere.
But also the mud.
Oh, the mud. Like serious boots disappearing into the soil kind of mud outside. Yet inside, the venue manager literally told everyone to wear your slippers.
Which is such a brilliant psychological instruction.
Yeah.
Stripping away those rigid environmental expectations, encouraging physical comfort like that, it naturally helps people let their guard down.
Yeah, it completely sets the stage for genuine mental and spiritual openness.
Exactly. Which perfectly explains the breakthroughs your group actually had during Saturday sessions with Reverend Manage Ratha and his wife Maria.
Manage kicked things off focusing on prayer, specifically challenging everyone to just expect miracles.
But the breakthrough there wasn't just a mindset shift. It was the operational pivot it caused. When your community actually started expecting miracles, they realized their rigid once-a-month post-church prayer meeting was effectively putting a cap on that expectation.
You really can't contain that kind of energy to a single Sunday afternoon once a month. It forced the realization that your community needs new, diverse ways to engage with prayer every single day.
And that need for everyday connection, it tied directly into Manage's second session on unity. He pushed the group to witness to a broken world, offering a very practical starting point.
Right, just to socialize more over food.
Socialize more over food, yeah. But he also asked the group to seek healing for past hurts caused by others within the church itself.
Which is a heavy lift. Asking for that level of vulnerability is tough if resentments are still lingering around. But Maria's afternoon sessions seemed to provide the exact solution for that unity issue.
She focused on the supremacy of Christ from Colossians 1. And she posed this great question. If we all put Christ first, imagine what our church would look like.
It totally reframes the community dynamics. When a group shares that ultimate overarching purpose, individual grievances naturally just start to look much smaller.
It's that idea of calling and purpose that really set up Sunday morning perfectly. Gathering in the venue's chapel, Frank Murphy touched on the fishers of men calling from Matthew's gospel.
And the crucial insight Frank delivered wasn't just the passage itself, it was the sequence of how Jesus recruits.
Right, he doesn't wait for people to fit the bill or tick all the boxes before calling them. He calls them first and then equips them.
You do not have to have it all together to start. Now, looking at your notes, the goal of this retreat wasn't to just isolate in a stately home forever. The whole point was to bring these revelations back to the rest of the congregation.
Which is why your group left with those specific handouts and reflection questions for the upcoming whole church meeting. The retreat is really only half the work.
Exactly.
And to help integrate these ideas, Manage supplied everyone with a free book titled When Churches Merge.
Wait, I have to stop you there. Looking at the context of your community, your church isn't actually merging with anyone. So why hand out a book with that title? Isn't that just going to confuse the congregation?
It sounds totally contradictory, I know. But the core lessons inside that book are highly relevant to the specific growth phase your church is navigating right now. It's about blending different dynamics and creating a unified path forward, even if a literal merger isn't happening.
Okay, that makes sense. And as a quick reminder to you listening, Manage left those books in the office with Chris, so they are ready for you all to pick up.
So looking at everything your group unpacked over the weekend, the overarching lesson is pretty clear. Meaningful community growth requires you to intentionally step out of the mud of your daily routine. But the true measure of that retreat's value is what you bring back to adapt and improve your everyday life.
It is all about the application now that the weekend is over. Which brings us to a final thought for you to mull over today. If you were to take that venue manager's wear your slippers approach to your own life or organization right now, what rigid tradition or expectation would you completely abandon to foster a deeper, more authentic connection?